Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Oh, here's JP.
All right, welcome into is it Taco Tuesday already? Wow, Taco Tuesday. Or it's in some people's mind, it's Fantasy Freddie Freeman Day. It's Fantasy Freddie Freeman Day. We're getting Freddie Freeman. Yeah, that's what's going on.
Well, start being so rude at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, right off the top. All right, welcome into the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have any stucco damage on your home, Christopher Palermo is an expert at getting remuneration for his clients. So go to PalermoPA.com and check it out. All right, so we got lots of baseball news. The Rays are in on Freddie Freeman. I'll explain to you why that's a bunch of horse crap. And we got our usual lineup on Tuesday here. We got TJ Tuesday. He's going to join us a little early today. TJ Rives at 10:15 to talk about what's going on with the Buccaneers. Anything going on with the Buccaneers? Anything going on? Anything? Yep. That's a team that actually does sign big superstars and brings them in. We have proof of that. The other one is just toying with you. Scott Reynolds will join us at 10:30, and we'll get his take on all the Brady things and what's next for the Buccaneers. See if they can retain Jordan Whitehead, or will Leonard Fournette be the next one up? Giovanni Bernard maybe will be next up. Who knows? So we'll talk to those two gentlemen about all things Bucs and maybe some other stuff as well. And we got lots of baseball stuff. First and foremost, shout out to Pete Alonso and his big badass truck. He got T-boned yesterday at the corner of Manhattan, or the intersection of Manhattan and Euclid, which I don't know why people are so crazy at that intersection in South Tampa. Did you see his truck? Said he rolled it 3 times.
Yeah, and
big old Ford. I mean, I've learned a lot about the truck on Twitter since it's like I don't know, some huge 2-ton truck or some crap.
Yeah, and I think he had to kick the entire windshield out
just to get out.
Just to get out. I mean, crazy. And he still showed up to camp yesterday and was ready to go. I mean, it's just a miracle that he's still here, let alone be able to focus on baseball now.
Yeah. If that was a smaller car, perhaps things would be different.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness. That so glad to have Pete Alonso still alive and kicking and at spring training. All right. Well, let's we got lots to get into. We got some Lightning news. Of course, they'll be taking on the Kraken tomorrow. They're out on the West Coast still. So we'll touch them all, as we always do here on the JP Peterson Show. We always like you to interact with the show at FanStreamJP. You can hit me up on Twitter. We're going to soon start efforting to take calls here. So we're going to do that in the next month or so you guys can get in and chat with us. I miss all of the callers. I really do. I miss chatting with the callers. So we may have Buccaneer Eddie call in today. So that'll be a treat for sure. No doubt about it. All right, let's get this Freddie Freeman nonsense. Our good friend, I saw Zach Blobner the other day, by the way, out at the media day at Copperhead Valspar, by the way, underway. We'll be talking about that as well. And the players yesterday, which was a very interesting finish. So Zach is reporting that the Rays are offering 6 years, $130 million, $140 million?
Just shy of $130 million.
Right. And the other suitors, according to Jim Bowden and is it Bowden or Bowden?
I think it's Bowden. I think it's Bowden.
All right. Whatever. Yeah, baseball expert says that the Dodgers and Toronto Rays are the leaders with the Yankees and the Rays in it. Okay, so let's repeat that. Dodgers, Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays. Which team does not belong in free agency discussions? And by the way, Zach Blobner reporting it. Zach is very close to the Rays hierarchy. So, and who, by the way, is the general manager of the Dodgers?
Andrew Friedman.
Who's best friends with Stu Sternberg.
Okay.
So this is how this works. I do a lot of live auctions for charities, right? And and this is not unethical in any way. It's kind of a fun way to go about doing things. there will be certain people in the audience that are just there, very rich people there to bid up the auction items at times so we can get more money. And if they are to be stuck with said auction item, it's okay. And they'll probably re-auction it somewhere else or do something else or use it or whatever, or give it away. They're that rich. But they're there to kind of bid it up. They'll throw out, I'll like, who will give me $2,000 for this great trip? And the hand goes up. And somebody else's hand goes up. And then his hand will go up again. And we'll bid it up, right? We'll get it going. So, but it's all understood what's going on here. It's all understood what's going on here. The Rays are trying to show some type of like they're in it on these big free agents to you, the gullible fan base. Oh, we're in it on Freddie Freeman. Oh, yeah, this is going to be great. We're going to get Freddie Freeman. Now, I will say there is a sliver of a chance that he would come here because I believe his wife is from here. I read that. I'm not sure. I haven't checked that. So if there is some pull of some family pull that I am unaware of, that there's maybe there's a sick relative, or maybe there's a desire and yearning to stay in the Southeast and not move to the craziness that is Los Angeles or New York, or doesn't want to go to Toronto. Like, these are just, from a family perspective, just not agreeable things for Freddie Freeman. Then maybe the Rays have a chance. Maybe then they have a slim chance. But in the world of free agency, where I'm hearing, the Dodgers don't want to go to a 6-year. Huh? The Dodgers make about $800 million a year. When you add up all their revenues, not just their TV revenues, but everything, it's probably closer. Their revenues are probably close somewhere to $600 to $800 million. If you wanted to spend $500 million on payroll, same thing goes with the Yankees. They could probably do it every year and make a profit. But of course, you can't do that with the luxury tax, or if you do, it's even more money. It would be what the Dodgers are spending right now is ridiculous already. What the hell makes you think that they're not going to pick up an extra 6-year just to keep him from going to a competitor? Especially if you're Andrew Freeman, you're sure as hell not letting him go to the Rays. That's not freaking happening. And if you're the Yankees and you get outbid by the Rays, I mean, can you imagine where Yankee fans going with this?
I don't think
there's going to be a coup.
I don't think it has to do with the bid on the Yankees' part. We know they could throw whatever they want,
right?
But I don't think the interest is there. Clearly, because they feel like they're out of the race, they're turning their attention to Anthony Rizzo now.
Okay.
So I don't think the Yankees fact why
because he doesn't want to play there.
I don't think he either wants to play there or Cashman's getting cheap, which he's been seen to do the last few years or whatever.
Which is bizarre.
Which is weird.
Which is bizarre.
And
I mean, with all deference to my friend Hal Steinbrenner, what the hell's going on? How the hell does Cashman keep his job?
I mean, I say that, but then again, they just took on $50 million of 36-year-old Josh Donaldson. So
yeah, how does Cashman keep his job? That's such a dumbass move. I have no idea. I mean, he spends money where he shouldn't be spending money. We're not here to critique the Yankees, but I mean, my God, that guy spent about $2.5 billion since they've last won a World Series.
Yeah, I mean, we're not
of the Steinbrenner money.
We're not.
No, it's great, it's fantastic. But I mean, if you're a Yankee fan, good God,
yeah.
I never hear Cashman's name on the hot seat. How is this guy's awful? He's awful.
Yeah, he's protected.
How do you spend that much money and suck so bad?
He's protected.
I guess
protected for whatever reason, but.
I guess.
But yeah, but to me though, I know you think a lot of fans are gullible for this, but to me it's just refreshing. That's the way I look at it.
Well,
it's
that's what he wants you to think. That they're actually, he knows damn well they're not going to get that contract. He knows damn well.
Obviously, it's unlikely. It's probably unlikely, and I think Ken Rosenthal, who just wrote an article at The Athletic, he said that the interest is serious. He's spoken to all these people around baseball. It's serious. The offer is real. He still thinks it's probably unlikely he goes to the Rays.
Of course it's unlikely.
Of course it is, but isn't this what we wanted? We can't have it both ways. We wanted the Rays to be in discussions. We wanted them to make an effort. I can't sit here and say they're not making an effort. Clearly they are. They're going after the biggest fish in the pond.
I think it's a false flag. I think it's an effort to make you think that they're serious about it, but they're not really serious about it. That's my point.
If there's an offer out there for $24-25 million a year, that's a serious offer.
How do we know that? Because Zach Blobner reported it? Because the Rays told him that?
I mean, he reported it.
Okay, but the Rays look where the information's coming from. A guy who's being sued by his partners twice now. A guy that by all, I mean, he has a very, very loose association with the truth. At every turn, this dude does nothing but lie. Let's just be honest. Remember, I'm not making any money. It's all your fault, fans, for our payroll. Complete bullshit.
So
Complete
you
bullshit.
think this offer is just fake?
Unless I saw it in writing, I think it's completely. A, they know that he's never going to take it. B, I think it's bogus. Yeah, I don't think. No, I don't think so. Sorry. I don't trust him. I don't trust the Rays organization when these things come out. Sorry. Call me crazy. Maybe there's a track record of lying and negotiating in bad faith for, I don't know, a decade.
But negotiating in bad faith in what part of the Rays? You're talking about off the field stuff, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, they are.
But I'm talking about on the field right now. Where in bad faith have they negotiated with players? Where in the bad faith has been there?
Well, I think like this Wander Franco contract, for instance, where
they're
everybody's
going to do what they got to do.
Everybody thinks, oh, they're going to spend $187 million. They're to open the purse strings now. We're spending money finally. No. When his contract gets rich, they'll jettison it just like they did the Longoria contract.
Perhaps, but I mean,
perhaps you want to wager on that? Come on,
I'm saying it's likely, but the Rays set that up the way that they do it because they have to do it. I understand that.
They don't have no. Stop with that narrative. They don't have to do anything. This guy's got $500 million in the bank, bro. Come on, stop with that stupid narrative. Not on this show. Hell no. Hell effing no.
You could have your opinion.
No,
I could have my opinion.
There's $500 million in the bank. Go look at the lawsuit.
You have my opinion. The Rays setting the Rays setting up that contract is a smart move by them. They feel like it's a smart move.
What, the Freddie Freeman deal?
The Wander Franco deal, the way that it's spaced out. Every other team in baseball, if they were smart, would do it the same way.
Oh, I agree with that.
That's my point.
But the feeling that I see all these fans using that as a pretext to say, oh, we are going to spend money now. Now we're going to get to $120, $150 million payroll, average payroll like every other team. See what we did with Wander? And I'm like, no, that money, he'll never see that from the Rays paycheck unless Stu's deposed, and then he will. As long as Stu Sternberg is the owner of this franchise, this payroll is not going above 70, 80 million. It's not. That has been, no matter how much money he makes, and he makes a lot of money. We know that's incontrovertible now. He doesn't even deny the fact in the lawsuit that he has that $500 million. He doesn't even deny it. So, well,
listen, I know you're going to poo-poo on Stu, and that's fine. I get it. But the Rays' estimated payroll right now without Freddie Freeman is $85 million. That's one of the highest payrolls that they've had
ever.
And I'd like to think, and I know what you're going to say, but just let me get it out. I like to think if a team that just saw their or an owner / GM crew just saw their team go to a World Series and then just win 100 games and set the franchise record is thinking, let me at some point, let me get something to get over the hump. And the factor that we haven't even talked about, the Blue Jays are also one of the finalists for Freddie Freeman. And the Rays have to know if he goes to the Blue Jays, you kiss the AL East goodbye. They have to stay in. They have to be competing with these teams. They have to. They know it. They have to think at some point we have to do something.
So now you're telling me they're going to outbid the Blue Jays.
I'm not saying they're going to, but they're going to have to get competitive with them.
So at 85 million payroll now, you're saying that hopefully Stu's watching again and wants to prove me wrong so bad because I'm mocking him so badly right now that he'll approve it and I'll take all the credit for it. But you're telling me that we've offered Freddie Freeman $25 to $30 million a year, $25 million.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, we're going to have $115 million payroll.
Well, we're probably going to shed some of that. There's trade chips in there.
Yeah, exactly.
But we've already been talking about the trade chips. It would offset each other. Would you rather take Meadows and Kiermaier off the board to get Freeman?
Hell yes, of course.
What's the argument then?
Well, last year we wouldn't pick up $15 million of Charlie Morton.
In all due respect to Charlie Morton, Freddie Freeman is a little bit different. This is an MVP player.
You can say that, but I'll argue that a clutch starting pitcher in the playoffs is way more important than a position player.
But for the Rays, I think the first baseman, the big bat in the order, very, very important. And I'll throw this out there too. And this goes back to what you like to see. Stu Sternberg said what about this year? They need to see more fans in the seats, correct?
Right, like he always does.
Okay, true. Freddie Freeman yes or no, needle mover, more fans going to the games? Would he not be the most significant player to ever put on a Rays uniform?
As a free agent, yes. No question about it. No question about it. And so what you're doing is looking at history, and I'm looking at history. We've never done this before, not even close, and it ain't going to happen this year.
Well, it's time to make new history.
Okay, you cling to that. Misguided youth. I tend to just look at history. Don't listen to what people say. Look at what they do.
They're making offers. That's what I see.
Oh, really?
That's what I see.
Show me the paper. Show me the paper. Yeah. All right. We'll take a break, and I can make an offer too. Here's $20. All right. TJ Rives coming up next. We'll get his take on this. We'll see where he's at in the Freddie Freeman sweepstakes. He might have a few things to say about Tom Brady as well. Stay with us. Health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. March Madness has come to the Gold and Diamond Source. Did you know the Aquamarine is the birthstone of the month, and the Emily collection has some great unique pieces. It's designed to be affordable, unique, stylish gold and diamond jewelry. The Julieve collection is Julie and Steve Weintraub's exclusive, one-of-a-kind, award-winning collection of the world's finest diamonds and rare fine gemstone jewelry. Don't forget, they have 0% financing and the Diamond Savings Account, where your diamond never loses its value. You can upgrade at any time and get 100% of its value towards a new purchase. Do you have any old jewelry, broken jewelry, just lying around? Well, bring it in and get top dollar and get even more value if you use that money to buy something new or just take the cash. Shop local with the folks who support our community in so many charitable endeavors. It's the Golden Diamond Source, just a short 15-minute ride from Tampa, just over the bridge on Ulmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months.
Full tournament Spar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Find him at PalermoPA.com. Let him fight for you. All right, it's Tuesday, so it must be TJ Rives Tuesday. What's up, my friend? How are you?
I didn't know that I was designated for a certain day of the week, but
You
thank
are
you
now.
for the compliment. I think I have finally recovered from all of the mayhem of traveling to and from Indianapolis, which I did last week for the Horizon League Championship game last Tuesday, to and from Frisco, Texas. And by the way, the Dallas Cowboys practice facility, the Star, is something else. They have an indoor 8,000-seat football stadium. That's where the Cowboys practice, but it's dual purpose. That's where the Conference USA title game was Saturday night that UAB won over Louisiana Tech. So UAB now in the NCAA tournament. Got to be there. Then we had Selection Sunday. And then we get done with the brackets. And I honestly, I keep putting this out there, JP. I want your take. I think Tom Brady was waiting to fill out his bracket and waiting for all of that to happen. And then bam, at like 10 after 7, 7:15 Eastern time, there was the announcement on social media.
No,
Once he had filled his bracket out, boom. Now he let everybody know I'm back with the Bucs.
He just likes to upstage major events. That's all. So I'm like, oh, I'll wait till Selection Sunday. That's what I'm going to select to come back. It was. I just want to know what the hell went on in the meeting at Old Trafford with Ronaldo that made him come out of retirement.
That is not. You're absolutely onto it. That is not coincidental. That all of that went on this weekend. That he was over there with the Glazers. With Ronaldo, talking to him after the game. And we don't know. We won't know for the coming weeks, months, or maybe year or so what was actually brokered. Is it? There's lots of speculation, especially in the English media.
Oh, I bet.
That he may be getting a piece of Manchester United.
That's what I said when I first saw
common
him there,
sense, right?
Like,
and maybe a piece of the Buccaneers as well. And again, under the NFL rules, he can't be part owner and play.
Right.
But maybe something's been promised down the road.
Absolutely.
We don't know. We don't know any of this. It makes for juicy segments on Sports Talk and on the internet. We don't know. But that was not an accident. You're absolutely right. That was not an accident that he was there and that he suddenly, just had a change of heart right after being there. I think he was having discussions probably for days, if not longer, of coming back and decide. I know this, okay? I'm not trying to play I got a secret. I can't reveal how I know this, but I know people that are connected to Brady's family, to Giselle and the kids and the whole thing. And they said to me 3 or 4 weeks ago, like right around Super Bowl time, that his kids were tugging at him about, you can still play. You can still do this. I'm sure that Giselle was tugging the opposite direction, and she carries a lot more weight on you don't have to do this. Let's move on. Let's do something else. But he was torn. He obviously was torn and looking at options. And so I think we're all thrilled that he took the option to walk right back in the door they left open for him. And now we wait to see what other pieces they can put together here in free agency for this team.
Yeah, listen, I think there's so many fascinating things about this that it's all speculation, and we do this in good fun. We're not trying to get anybody in trouble here or make any concrete assertions here about what we're reporting. But I think with his global brand, why would you not want to be part of the Premier League as a part owner in the storied franchise that is Manchester United? And you go sit in Old Trafford with your boys and you're talking to Ronaldo. I mean, you got to imagine there are very few things on this earth, right, that impress Tom Brady. That would probably be one of them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I would bet a whole lot of money because it's probably not even part of the NFL rules that you can offer some other type of compensation. But down the road, listen, we want you to be part of this when you retire, and certainly I think they would much rather have him be the face of Man United than the Glazers. I mean, with all due respect, they're just not very well liked there. That is what it is. And if Tom Brady can become the face of the franchise in terms of ownership, I think everyone would probably be happier in that situation. But I think it's definitely part of it with his global branding. Incredible. And here's the most bizarre part of this. It was Tom Sr.'s quote. I don't know if you saw this.
I did not.
He
Educate me.
He said, and I quote, that Brady retired, quote, there were some external outside forces that caused him to make a rash decision, basically, is what he said. That's not a perfect quote, but there were outside forces. That is a quote. Who the hell are the outside forces? Is he talking about Giselle?
Well, we can figure out what one of them was, can't we?
Giselle?
Because you've been married, I'm married. For anybody that's married, one of the outside forces is in the bed with him, and is at the kitchen table with him, and is in the car with him, and around him. And I know she has been tugging at him. What more do you have to prove? You heard her say that right after the win over the Chiefs on the field. The NFL Films had the microphones, and you heard her say, "What else do you have to prove?" He doesn't have to prove anything else. So that's one of the outside forces. I think another one of the outside forces was, we're saying to him, we need a decision because we've got to figure out what we're doing with the salary cap and what are we doing at quarterback if you're not here.
Right.
We need you to tell us because we've got decisions to make. And so maybe it did force his hand a little bit, and maybe he did have remorse over having done it. And they were very smart. I can give Jason Light, and I know I can be accused of being biased or slanted, but give Jason Light and Bruce Arians a lot of credit that they left the door open. They didn't put him on the retired list. They made it very clear publicly he's not going to play for anybody other than us. Either he's still playing with us or he's done. And that was the right way, obviously, to play it and then just leave it alone. And the conversations, I think, were had again here in recent weeks, obviously. That he just didn't. You just said this. Obviously, he didn't just suddenly decide to show up at the Manchester United game Saturday.
Right.
That was something that had been planned, and it probably involved a meeting with the Glazers, one or all of them, over there to discuss the future with the Bucs, and the future period after football. And he comes to the decision. And I love that video where he's on the field with Ronaldo. I saw that Sunday night after all of the mayhem of the selection show. Yeah. Where you can sort of hear Ronaldo say, so you're done, and you sort of hear, you can't really make it out. You hear Brady say something like one more year, or one more time around, or whatever that means, when they're standing there together alone in the stadium. So that was really a neat clue into what his thought process has been. And now we turn to, okay, you get Ryan Jensen back, you lose Alex Kappa on the offensive line. So you're apparently going to place him with Aaron Stinney and maybe draft someone. And you've got Robert Hainsey that can play guard. Right. What do you do with Chris Godwin? Do you rework his deal to free up salary cap?
Yes.
Is Leonard Fournette back as part of this? I think it's very interesting that Leonard Fournette hasn't signed with anybody since yesterday. And I just looked a second ago, and you may have more info.
Nope.
He hasn't signed with anybody.
Nope, he's available.
So is he coming back?
Yes.
And Carlton Davis, by the way, there was a big fear that he's going to be gone. He's re-signed. That's good news. Huge. So now what are the other pieces, JP? We don't know that answer.
I think they get Jordan Whitehead back, even though I know there's a strong pull for him to go to Pittsburgh. They like him, but I think with Brady coming back, he'll want to stay. I think Fournette comes back. I think Giovanni Bernard, although he was injured a lot, I think they like what they saw when he was healthy. And I think they're looking at guard, receiver, running back in the draft, guard, receiver, running back, defensive tackle in the draft. I think that's where they're going to go. And I would argue, especially now that they got Carlton Davis and Ryan Jensen back, I will argue that even though Marpet is retired, we may be looking at a better roster this year than last year when it's all said and done. Because I think we're going to get younger, and I think we may get better at some positions. And just by attrition of some older guys, and I would maybe point the finger at JPP, although I loved him to death. I think Father Time has caught up with him and all the injuries. It's a miracle he's played as well.
Clearly, the second half of the year he couldn't do much, and he rested, and he was kind of effective in the 2 playoff games after having rested. But he's at the end, and you're not going to be able to afford him and bring him back. You can't afford everybody. That's why last year was a fluke, an aberration, where they had fit everybody in for the 2021 season. And now you see on the open market what Alex Kappa gets. And they knew what Carlton Davis was going to get, a similar type deal to what they gave him. And you can't keep everybody. You just cannot in the free agency world. You can't blame these guys, too, Buccaneer fans and any other fans of any other team. If you can go grab 15, 20, 25 million guaranteed and make more somewhere on your second contract, then that's what you go and do, especially if the team that you're playing for, whether it's Bucs or whoever, can only pay you half of that or even less than half of that. So for some of these guys, go cash in. That's great, and I'm interested to see Tyrann Mathieu is an interesting name. The Honey Badger, how much tread does he have left on the tires? It looks like he's on the outs in Kansas City, and would he come here for a little bit of money, fired up, chip on his shoulder, trying to win one with Tom Brady? Remember, Matthew played briefly for Bruce Arians out in Arizona.
Loves him.
Would the Honey Badger be down here as a safety on a one-year deal? I don't know. Let's just see what some of these deals look like. There will be guys who will take less to come here and play on an easy deal.
All right, before I get you out of here, because I know you got to do another show. Yep. My co-host here, who I love dearly, is still, he's a big and he's under this Freddie Freeman fantasy that the Rays are actually going to sign him. Can you?
The Freddie Freeman $30 million a year fantasy.
So is that
what you're talking about?
So to your expert who've covered the Rays since their beginning, likelihood of them signing a 6-year, $180 million contract.
Look, there are all kinds of likelihoods in life, right? I could have a perfect NCAA tournament bracket. Aliens could land on your front lawn out before the beginning or before the end of the show. There's all kinds of that's not very likely. The Rays are going to pay someone $30 million a year to come play first base for them. What planet are we on? What was the payroll last year? 62 million, 60 million, 57 million. What was it last year?
68.
They're now going to pay somebody $30 million to come play first base. If I have that right,
that's right.
And I'm not seeing it.
And they're going to outbid the Dodgers, Yankees, and Blue Jays, who are also very much.
Well, they do it, yes.
Yeah.
And give up what, by the way? And give up? Are you going to give up Wander Franco to do it?
No, you have to give up anything. He's a free agent.
Negative.
So not going to happen.
Negative.
Zero.
Negative.
All right. Just wanted to get that out there.
That was your last appearance on this show. The last.
Is that it?
Off the guest list.
I would like to say that I've enjoyed my relationship with JP these decades, and if this is my farewell, let's go win another Super Bowl with the Bucs.
This is why you're kicking him off the show? This is why?
Yeah, because you're all going to eat crow at some point this week.
Okay.
All of you.
Freddie Freeman to the Rays, okay?
Zach,
what are you going to make Nick do if it's wrong? Is he going to stand out like on Channel Side Drive holding up a sign that says, I know nothing? What are you going to do on that one there, big boy?
No, we'll just come on here and laugh at him for another 2 hours.
This interview is over. It's
all right. This interview is done.
Thank you, TJ.
By the way, free advice for your brackets. Look out for that UAB team. I worked the game Saturday night, Alabama-Birmingham against Houston in a 12-5 game. Look out for them.
Oh, all right.
Just free advice.
All right. I'm writing that down. We'll get you on next week.
On the bracket picks.
Too. All right, brother. Thank you.
I know you got to run. Be well.
See, I know you got to run. You're busy, man. You got a big show to do. All right, quick break. When we come back, Scott Reynolds is going to join us. Ryan Jensen is doing an 11 o'clock presser this morning, so we'll get some more info from him as well. Might even take a little bit of that live on our technology that we have here. Scott Reynolds coming up next. Quick break. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business.
727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Also presented by the Golden Diamond Source. We got to pick a Golden Diamond Player of the Week. So start thinking about that, co-host Nick, as we welcome in our good friend Scott Reynolds from the pewterreport.com. What's up, friend? How are you?
Good, JP. How are you?
Oh, man, I tell you what, this is an exciting time. I mean, when we talked last week, you had brought me into post-Brady, post-mortem depression. And I'm like, he's right. It's rebuild time, but we're still holding out some hope. And you said that as well. I was like, Brady could still come back.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to play. I just wasn't positive it was going to be with the Buccaneers, but the Buccaneers won that showdown. They let Brady know that you ain't going anywhere else, partner. You want to play, it's going to be right here. Maybe threw in a piece of Manchester United. Who knows? But he's back. Where were you when you find out? What was your reaction?
I was driving from Manhattan, Kansas, after seeing my daughter Ellie at Kansas State for the weekend, back to Kansas City to get ready to hop on a plane. And I had a member of the Bucs organization actually text me Tom Brady's tweet. That's how I knew that Tom Brady's account didn't get hacked.
Right.
And I knew that the information was legitimate. Not the fact that it came from Brady's Twitter feed, his official Twitter feed, but because the fact of a member of the Buccaneers inner workings texted me that just as it happened, let me know that it was 1,000% true.
So how did this deal get done in your mind? What changed for Tom Brady?
That's a great question, and this is just speculation because
Yes,
I don't have
all
any inside
speculation.
information.
Yes.
But what I'm thinking is that there had to be, I think, the commitment. Brady had to see it, hear it, and feel it from Bruce Arians, from Jason Light, that they were going to go make another run at this thing, and that they weren't going to go into rebuilding mode, because they easily could have. They easily could have hit the reset button and righted their future cap situation next year. Use them with Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert as the veteran, and they could have done that. And when push comes to shove, right, that's when the rubber meets the road. And I think if you look at the timing of this, Brady did this really on the eve of the free agency tampering period. He had seen enough in that they were going to make the push to get Godwin back. I think that they had communicated behind the scenes they were going to get Ryan Jensen back, which was huge because the center quarterback relationship is paramount.
Yes.
And
very close.
Once those two big pieces were in place, and plus the fact that they were going to be aggressive and get Carlton Davis back, their top cover corner. So those are the big three moves that I think the Buccaneers had to make, whether Brady came back or not. And the fact that he did with Godwin, Jensen, and Davis staying with the Buccaneers is just huge. So I think there's that element. The other element was, you said this since day one, Brady never used the word retirement, never used the word retiring, never used the word retire, right? Those big three R's, didn't use them. But I think he wanted to leave the door open, not just for his return, but maybe for his retirement. So if you look back at those social media messages now, he was just thanking Tampa Bay for a great time for the last 2 years.
Right.
And I think that he was leaving the door open himself, not just the Buccaneers. And I think that he dove headfirst into this. And I think that maybe, he pulled an audible on Giselle, right? And said, hey, listen, I'm all yours for the next couple of months. We're doing this thing. And because if you want to play the wife right, you can't sit there and start talking about coming back for the 23rd season right after the 22nd season ends, right?
Yes.
You got to appease her. You got to take her on the vacation, show her a good time, do all the things with the kids and the family, and then you kind of work it in over dinner, over wine, after you've been the white knight, right? Then you kind of work it in.
I think it was kind of interesting.
And I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I think you're right on. And I think something happened in Manchester. I think we just talked about this, TJ Rives.
Actually, I don't think anything did. I heard from two well-placed Bucs officials that visit had absolutely nothing to do with it. The wheels were in motion prior to that. He had been in communication with the Buccaneers about personnel moves prior to that visit to Man U. If anything, that was just an icing on the cake, but that did not sway Brady whatsoever, according to two people that I've spoken with about that.
Yeah, he was already thinking about it and planning for it, and maybe there was something there that just put him over the top that he could not refuse. Whatever it was, I don't think Giselle was there for that. It's just him and his boys, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was just a boys' day. Yeah,
which was interesting. So I listen. Whatever the Glazers did, whatever Jason Light did, whatever Bruce Arians did. I described this a couple of weeks ago as kind of like a poker game, and they're going to put everything on the whiteboard, and these are all our options. And I think they felt like this is what we'll give up for Russell. This is what we'll give up for Aaron Rodgers if that's a deal. And then this is what we'll do if we think Brady's coming back. And they looked at those options and said, this is the most likely one. But Brady coming back, so let's leave the light on. Let's make sure everybody in the league knows that there's going to be a hefty price if you want Brady, to make sure that Brady knows he's not going to come back and go to the 49ers or go anywhere else.
Right.
And they played everything absolutely perfect, and they deserve tremendous credit.
Yes, they did. And again, that was part of the whole Blaine Gabbert thing, because we've talked about it before on your show a couple weeks ago. If the Buccaneers are resigned to re-signing Blaine Gabbert, and I believe they will, he will be the number 2 quarterback again. You have Kyle Trask coming in as the number 3 now.
Yeah.
And those two will battle for the backup job in camp. That's what you want. That's kind of what the Buccaneers expected. Kyle came in as number 4. The first year, just get acclimated, change your body, lose a little weight, work on the mechanics, be around Brady, right? Kind of, soak in the Buccaneer experience via osmosis. Then year 2, in the off season, we bring Blaine back. Both of you guys battle for number 2 behind Brady, and then that's where you really kind of see what you have in Kyle Trask from behind the scenes, and he gets more reps at camp, more reps in the preseason. But the genius of the whole Blaine Gabbert thing is if that's your quarterback, along with Kyle Trask, because those are your options, right? You didn't trade for Russell Wilson, you didn't trade for Carson Wentz, those kind of things. Then Brady cannot go to the Glazers, to Bruce, to Jason, and say, you guys already got your quarterback, so I do want to play this year after all. Imagine that. Can you trade me to the 49ers or wherever? It boxes Brady in.
Exactly.
And the fact that they didn't do that, because the thing is they can sign Blaine Gabbert, and they can say we're gonna roll with Blaine and Kyle, and that's kind of what they were even saying at the combine. And that was a signal to Brady that it's like, dude, anytime you want to come back, guess what? You're number 1.
Yeah.
We'll gladly move Blaine down to number 2, just like the last 2 years. That changes nothing. So if you're going to come back to play, Tom, it's going to be with us. They played it masterfully.
Yeah, and one other thing that I'll add in there, and I don't know if it ever made it around. I think it did make. There were a few reports. Jimmy Garoppolo was their next target, and I think I've been saying that from the very beginning. All you have to do is put that in the public arena that they're looking at Jimmy. Yeah. Not for real. That was to be just a red herring, a catfish. And say put that out there, and Brady will come running. There's no doubt about that. They'd be like, that MFer, you're sticking with that. You're going with that MFer. No, I'm coming back.
Yeah,
maybe that was part of it too. Who knows?
And I think the thing too is, and maybe there's some Buccaneer fans that don't want to hear this, but I'm just really glad. And I've had some conversations with some people who are decision makers, and the team did its due diligence on Deshaun Watson, and it wasn't even just the sexual allegations. It was Deshaun Watson had a great statistical season his last year playing for the Texans, and they went 4-12.
Yeah.
And you can look at it, if you look at it in a vacuum from a statistical standpoint, you look at Deshaun Watson, wow, he had a great year. Okay, but they went 4-12. And football's bigger than one position, but we've seen how that one position, that quarterback position, can change everything. You remove Jameis Winston, right? 7-9, 2019, and you replace Tom Brady, who win the Super Bowl the next year, right? Just that one swap, right? So it's a very important position, but it's just so curious. Now, listen, Deshaun Watson did take the Texans to the playoffs the 2 previous years. I think he went 1-2 in those games. But that really kind of stuck in the Bucs craw a little bit. Why did they go 4-12 with Deshaun Watson as the quarterback? Because great quarterbacks just don't let that happen, right? If you look back at the great quarterbacks, find me where John Elway went 4-12, right? Find me where Dan Marino went 4-12. Find me where Patrick Mahomes has gone 4-12, right? I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl every year or make the playoffs, but I'm just saying great quarterbacks don't go 4-12. They just don't. That was a bit of a red flag. Then you've got Deshaun Watson saying, well, I want some say-so in the next head coach, right? And then you're looking at the $35 million cap hit, and there's just some things about that guy that just didn't sit right with the organization.
Interesting, very interesting.
Oh, and then you're throwing 22 allegations of sexual misconduct.
Then there's that
in the fray.
Yeah.
Then there's that. Yeah, and it's not just one woman; it's a bunch of them. That shows a pattern. That shows a type of behavior, not just a Ben Roethlisberger, Jameis Winston groping type incident with one woman. No, this is trouble. And the thing is you give up all that draft capital for the guy. He's going to get suspended probably for half a year. It may not even be this year, maybe in 2023.
Yeah.
After all of those civil suits, come due
settled,
with their outcomes. Yeah. But it's going to happen. And then if anything like that happens again, he's going to be banned for a year. And then you're without your quarterback. And then guess what? It's all of a sudden, at least with Brady coming back for one more year, you can have a better plan, right? And maybe that plan is still to develop contrast, but it's like the difference between a tornado warning and a hurricane warning. I lived in both states, Kansas and Florida, right? The hurricane warning, it's coming for days.
Yeah.
The tornado warning, you're woken up in the middle of the night because it just popped out of the sky.
Diving into
right
the basement.
Now, right now you've got a hurricane warning with Tom Brady. At age 45, probably the last year, maybe you get one more year out of it. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But the end is coming. With Deshaun Watson, you can bring that guy on, and you have no idea if any of those sexual picadillos resurface, and then he gets popped again, and then he's suspended for a year, and your franchise quarterback is done. Your draft capital that you used to acquire him is gone, and now your franchise is set back.
Wow.
That's the tornado warning.
That scenario is completely untenable. And as much as I wanted Deshaun Watson, it's such an all or nothing game these days with these quarterbacks. And I'd love to get your take on this because we were talking about this the other day, and I was longing and pining for the days of Mike Allstott and Earl Campbell and Walter Payton when running backs meant something in this league. And they don't anymore. And I know the idea of passing is great and people want to, wide open game and blah, 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 blah. But I kind of miss that old element of football where you run the damn football when Mike Allstott is just pounding people into submission and teams just quit.
Yeah.
And Raymond James is going bananas. People don't think it's exciting. I think it's exciting. I'm not saying going back to 50 rushing, attempts a game. It's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But I think there needs to be some balance return to this game because now it's like if you don't have the quarterback and there's only about 8 to 10 guys in this league who you could put in that category who are extremely accurate, have the velocity, have the anticipation, nothing. You got nothing. And I don't think that's good for the league. What do you think?
Great point. I don't think so either. I mean, Brad Johnson, I love him. You do too. The Bull, right? I mean, he's not an elite quarterback.
No.
But defense and Allstott plays just as much as winning that Super Bowl that season, if not more, certainly, than Johnson's passing game, which, to be fair, had Keyshawn Johnson, Keenan McCardell, Joe Juravicius, Brad Johnson. That's a pretty good arsenal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
Brad was
great
when he needed
but
to
I mean,
be.
it's not bad.
Yeah, he was great when he needed to be.
Yeah.
But if you were going to rely on him to throw 50 times a game, that wasn't going to be a good recipe.
That's right. I mean, you go back to the Ravens, right? They had Jamal Lewis with the ground game. They had Trent Dilfer as their point guard quarterback, right? And Ray Lewis and the Ravens defense. I mean, that was a different style of football, but I think it was more versatile. You didn't have that amazing franchise type, future Hall of Fame quarterback. You still had a chance. And, and I think I think Mike Vrabel has kind of tried to build that with Tennessee.
Yep.
Right. Where Tannehill, he's never going to be a Hall of Famer by any means, but they have, King Henry and they got a pretty good defense. I think he's tried that approach. And I think that this is such a follow the leader type of sport, whether it's in college or in the NFL, that I think if the Titans can break through and have, like a 2,000-yard rusher, if Henry can do that and they can get to the Super Bowl and win, then I think that you might see a little bit more open-mindedness towards the running game in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the rules have gone this way. And honestly, whose fault it was? The Arena Football League. The Arena Football League. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. Even though it ended up being a failure, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, it did enough to attract fans. Remember, JP, there was a time, you and I go way back, there was a time when the Tampa Bay Storm was more successful to a degree, more popular than the Buccaneers. Not that they were drawing, 30,000 fans, because the arena didn't fit that. But I'm just saying, there was a time where the Tampa Bay Storm and Jay Gruden were winning championships and being on the front page of the paper, and the Buccaneers weren't. And the reason why that game was so exciting was because it was high scoring. And this league wants points, and points come via the passing game. And I understand it, but like you, I love a good, ground and pound, ground assault with guys like Allstott, and I still like running backs. I think they still have a place, and I wish that the league didn't stack the deck to make the passing game what it is. Yeah. Because I think too, the flip side of that is it's not only taking the running back out of play, which is your Mike Allstott, it's also taken John Lynch out of play, which is your Steve Atwater, your Cam Chancellor type of strong safety enforcer types across the middle. Yeah. And I think that Mike Allstott and John Lynch, if they were inserted into the modern day football, would not sniff Pro Bowls and would certainly not be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Mike would never get
not
20, 22, 25 carries a game, never. And I
no way.
So I came up with this crappy, and I know you got to go this quirky, crappy baseball type rule. When you're trying to change the game, how about we have a minimum number of running attempts that you have to get to every game, and if not, you get penalized a possession or something like that. Some stupid way. Just like, and if you fall behind by 2.5 3 scores, then that goes out the window. I wish we could come up with some way to get.
I agree.
The running game back into flow, and I think it would be better.
Here's two things. All right, and I had to deal with this too, with Pop Warner, right? When you have to get the minimum play, kids in, and you want to do it in the first 3 quarters because you don't want to be stuck playing. Exactly. The kids that are out there because mom and dad are making them play, right? Yes. And they don't want to be on the field, and all of a sudden it's like, we got to stop them right here, and the kid's going like, I want to go home. I you know what I'm saying? I think there's 2 things. If you had you had to have a minimum of 20 rushing attempts and 30 passing attempts. And once you've reached 50 plays, you can call whatever the hell you want. But go with that formula for the first 50 plays of the game. And you want to talk about finding great coaches? If that was the criteria, if those were the rules, man, you would have to really strategize when you're going to call those runs, when you're going to call those passes. And the other thing too is it would certainly make it interesting, because once you reach 50, then you can do whatever you want, right? Regardless of what the score is. It's just a pipe dream, but I think that's interesting. The other thought I had was, because I'm not a big baseball fan at all, I think it's boring. If each team were to, or maybe like baseball, just to make it fair, if the league comes in and puts 3 randomly placed landmines in the outfield, right? It would totally make the routine pop fly more interesting. I'm just saying, right?
If you step on it, it's like a gender reveal, like a different color comes out and it means different things. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just not that it's going to kill the players, but like it's going to concuss them or something. All of a sudden, routine pop fly, boom, and then all of a sudden,
it's kind of like playing at the Trop.
The guy drops the ball.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing at the Trop when it hits the catwalk. Yeah.
Yeah, the center fielder, he's gingerly running over to get the ball now. The guy's rounding down the, and it just would make it interesting.
Ba-boom. Oh, you are sick. You're sicker than me. All right, my friend. I know you got to go. So pewterreport.com, all podcasts every day. Give us a quick promo.
Yeah, Pewter Report TV on YouTube. That's our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV. I'll be on today at 4 o'clock live. You can also watch those podcasts anytime because they're recorded. But you can catch me live at 4 o'clock on Pewter Report TV. We'll be breaking down the Ryan Jensen press conference, which starts in just a couple of minutes.
Yep.
And as well as all the Bucs free agency news, pewterreport.com is the place to be. You can also find us on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report. That is at Pewter Report.
He really does hate baseball. He's trying to kill the players. He's Scott Reynolds.
Maim. I would use the term maim as opposed to kill.
Oh, my God.
I just want the routine pop fly. It's too easy.
Oh, my God. Rob Manfred is not a fan of yours. All right. We'll see. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, buddy. Oh, you think I come up with crazy rules that get us. How about that? Landmines in the outfield. Now we're talking.
Y'all are really trying to kill baseball.
It's like
today.
This is like dystopian baseball. Like these dystopian movies like Squid Game where you just kill people indiscriminately. We could have sports that way. And you want to bring back physicality in football? Yeah. Now we're trying. We're like, hit him as hard as you can. Use weapons. Yeah, why not? It'll be fun. And we may get there sooner than you think. I don't think that's happening. But I listen. I think it's just going to be a very interesting day because free agency really starts in earnest tomorrow, right? I mean, so they're trying to get these deals done with Golston and Whitehead and some of these other guys. We'll see if the chip could be coming fast and furious. Ryan Jensen coming up at 11 o'clock. We're efforting getting that on to you live, but we'll see what we can do. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back at 11:20. Orestes Destrade is going to join us to talk some Braves baseball. Maybe he's a little bit more optimistic about the Freddie Freeman deal. He'll buoy Nick's fantasy here a little bit, but we'll maybe hear from Ryan Jensen next. So stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. We're also presented by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo and his team over there will get you right. They're a different kind of approach to primary care. They will do a personalized approach. And if you've ever felt rushed going to the doctor where they spend about 5 minutes with you, it's because of the whole insurance game there. They got to get 60 people through in one day. So they're under a lot of pressure to do so, but not at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They will spend sometimes 45 minutes to an hour. We had Christopher Lugo on last week. He was talking to us about the way they approach this. They really dig into your eating habits, your exercise habits, your sleep habits. All this is part of the puzzle to get you into perfect health, and that is their goal. So check them out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com, BAMMC.com. Also, go back and listen to our interview with Christopher Lugo. It's on our website at fanstreamsports.com, or you can look it up on our app as well. Now, always download the app. It's the best way to get the audio here. It's very easy to use. Just one tap that app, and you'll get the show anytime you want it, whether you're driving home, in the midday, whenever you want it, it's there for you. So check it out. We're 2 hours live every day, Monday through Friday, the best local sports talk right here on the JP Peterson Show. We really appreciate you guys listening. We don't say that enough. Our numbers have been increasing steadily over the last few months. We've gone digital, so we really appreciate you spreading the word. And we're doing our best to give you the best show each and every day. I think we bring you the best guests, the best information, and right on as far as what's happening next. And I think maybe that Gronk shoe will drop today. Well, by the way, we're waiting for Ryan Jensen. Oh, and there he is. There's Big Red right there. So let's take this live.
I'm extremely excited to be back. Never wanted to leave. When Tampa signed me in 2018, it's that made a dream come true, and I wanted to stay here, and I wanted to end my career here. So being able to sign a contract that could potentially make me retire as a Buccaneer is what I've been looking for. And the last couple of days, negotiations and stuff like that, that's always stressful and everything, but just want to be back in Tampa and love the guys who I play with, and guys on the team. And I hit on that with my kind of end of season press, how special a group this locker room was. And that's I wanted to be back, and I'm glad that I am back.
Thanks.
Jenna Wayne.
Ryan Jensen doing his press conference after signing.
Hey, Ryan, congratulations. I know this past week was also a little crazy for you because you had heard some of the rumblings of Tom possibly being back. Can you just kind of speak to that and kind of how that played into your decision?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wanted to be here, and obviously Tom coming back is huge for the team, and the success that he's brought the organization the last couple of years. He called me on Sunday, pretty much right before he had announced and said, "Hey, let's run it back," and I'm coming back. So, at that point, I was pretty much already committed to coming back to Tampa, and obviously that's just the sugar on top. So, it was a crazy day when I was having a birthday party for my daughter, and dealing with trying to negotiate, and then all of a sudden Tom calls me. So it was a crazy day, but again, happy to be back and happy to be with an organization that has appreciated me for the last 4 years and hopefully the next 3. So again, just excited and happy to be
celebrating birthday and your new contract. That had to be pretty special together.
Yeah, it was a little stressful, but yeah, it was exciting. And when we came to terms and everything like that, it was just the icing on the cake at the end of a great day. So again, just glad and excited to be back.
Thank you.
Joey Knight.
Right, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I gotcha.
To get a little lighthearted for just a moment, How much baby powder do you use during the course of a game?
Thanks, Joe.
Not as much as you would think. I'm kind of an anomaly a little bit. I actually don't really sweat that much. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but for me, like during the game, I'm not a big sweater, but it definitely pre-game putting a lot down there.
And obviously you're back. Tom is back. You know Ali Marpet better than any of us. Do you think he stays unretired, or do you think he could be swayed to come back?
Yeah, I think, talking with Ali, he's excited to take the next step in his life, life after football. And, obviously if he wants to come back, that's his decision. And we'd open to, have him open arms and stuff like that. But, now he's retired and enjoying his post-football life. So, that'd be completely his decision.
Thanks, Ryan.
Highly unlikely, in my opinion.
Scott Reynolds.
He's just
hey, congrats on that deal, Ryan. You really kind of bonded with Jason Light right from the get-go when he made you the highest paid center in the league. Can you just kind of talk about the relationship you've had with him? And you've got a couple holes now at guard. Maybe Stinney's one of those guys that fills one of those spots. But can you speak to Jason Light's ability to build an offensive line, which you were a part of in 2018 and then also now, and the level of confidence in him keeping this line as good as it can be?
Yeah, Jason, in my opinion, is one of the best GMs in the league, and just what he's done over the last couple of years. Him and Greeny, working the numbers, and that I have, zero doubt that we're not going to have another top five, top tier offensive line this coming year. Stinney, obviously in the Super Bowl run, he stepped in, and there was little to no drop off when he stepped in when Alex got hurt. And, obviously losing Kappa too, he's a great young football player who's just getting better year in and year out. But I'm happy for him first and foremost. But yeah, I think we'll be able to fill that spot pretty seamlessly. And, we have great coaching staff with Goody and Joe, and, obviously a great front office. So I'm sure we'll be back to firing full cylinders, relatively quickly.
And then also you made your first Pro Bowl. Congrats on that. And what was that experience like for you? And, that's got to be a feather in your cap, nice on the resume, and obviously something you want to attain and maintain at your level as a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's a great honor. Obviously, it's tough to make a Pro Bowl. So, that's always one of those goals. You as a young guy, Pro Bowl, second contract, win a championship. So going to the Pro Bowl, it obviously would rather been somewhere else that next weekend. But it was an awesome experience being able to go and be with the top guys in the league, and enjoy a week in Vegas, and playing in the game was a dream come true.
We're listening to Ryan Jensen's press conference today. Signs a 3-year, $39 million contract with the Buccaneers.
Ryan, if somebody told you maybe after your last game, CSU Pueblo, or you get taken in the 6th round, you say, hey, 10, 12 years from now, you would be a Pro Bowler, be playing with Tom Brady, winning a Super Bowl, what would you have said to them?
It was just kind of crazy to think of my path career being a 6th-round pick, and coming out of Pueblo, and then not starting until my 5th year in the league, and now here we are going into my 10th year, with a championship, playing with Tom. I wouldn't have believed it. Heck, 3 years ago when I signed with Tampa, or 4 years ago when I signed with Tampa, if I, you would have told me I would have been playing with Tom Brady 2 years later, I probably would have laughed in your face. But no, it's just crazy. It's an amazing story. It's people are always like, oh, your story's so good. I'm like, is it really? But
yes, it is.
It's amazing. What hard work and determination can bring to somebody. So,
amen,
that's what my career's been, is just trying to prove everybody wrong, and trying to be the best football player that I can be.
Kirky.
Ryan, congratulations on your contract. My question to you is, after you got off the phone with Brady, are you and Brady trying to help recruit some other guys and trying to bring them back, guys like Leonard Fournette?
I mean, again, we'll take anybody we can get back, obviously, and talking with Tom, it was just like, hey, let's try to get the band back together, and go out and try to win football games and play football the right way. So, I mean, obviously, Tom coming back, that could sway some decisions of some guys, that are in free agency or looking to, sign back. So, Tom is probably the greatest recruiter of all time. So, we'll see what happens.
Well, on that subject, were you surprised that Tom came back? I know he called you on Sunday, but in the days leading up to Sunday, were you thinking, okay, we're going to get another quarterback in here? It's not going to be Tom.
Yeah, to say I was surprised that Tom was coming back, I honestly don't think I was that surprised. I think by the way, everything transpired last year, the way the season ended. I mean, I just feel like a player like Tom, obviously, the greatest to ever do it, he can't go out like that. So when he retired, I kind of thought that to myself, like, I don't know, I think he's going to be back. But obviously when he called me on Sunday and confirmed it, it was like, okay, that's kind of what I thought. He can't go out that way.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yep.
Evan Winter.
Hey, Ryan, congrats, man. Obviously, you've been a focal point of the offensive line, and you still have two bookend tackles in Donovan Smith and Tristan Wirfs. But how much are you looking forward to being the guy on the interior offensive line and helping bring up and raise the play of whoever the Bucs do fill in at guard next to you?
Yeah, I feel like Stenny is he came in the Super Bowl run and did lights out. So there's obviously no doubt that Stenny can play football. Obviously we have a couple of young guys on the interior who can play, who could have a chance to step up and potentially start. Nick Leverett. There's a couple guys that are on the roster right now that could step up and potentially take that spot over. And I'm excited to see who wins that job and excited to get to work with them.
We have time for a few more. Next, we'll go to Luke Easterling.
Hey, Ryan, congrats on the new deal. When you signed here in 2018 and got that deal, free agency is littered with all these different, high-paid guys that go to new teams and they just never live up to the expectations, right? They get big contracts and it just never comes together. Now you're here, you're staying in Tampa Bay on another big contract. What do you think was the biggest reason you were able to find that success when a lot of guys don't? And I guess, what would be your advice to a lot of the guys who are signing those new big deals with new teams this week?
I'll use my own experience for kind of a story. After I signed that contract, in 18 to come here, and that first season, I definitely didn't play up to expectations. I didn't play up to that contract. And, it was kind of a reality check for me. Going into that next year, I went back to, that kind of chip on my shoulder and I haven't made it type mentality. And I think that's, the way I've always kind of played my career, except for, maybe that first year I was in Tampa and my play kind of showed. So for me, it's just, these guys, who are going to sign these big contracts, for me, it's just keep doing what got you to that point, because there's obviously something that you're doing, that made you the football player that you are. So for me, it was, just focusing and playing hard and keeping my focus on football. And I feel like when I got my first big payday, I kind of lost focus of that. I kind of like, oh, I made it. And, my play fell off. So I think for me, it's just keeping that chip on my shoulder and, the guys that are going and getting their big deals and seeing a ungodly amount of money for the first time, just keep that chip on your shoulder and keep doing what got you there.
That's very interesting.
Last two will come from Scott Reynolds and Jenna Lane. We'll go to Scott Reynolds first.
Ryan, just wanted to get your perspective on Robert Haynes, his development behind the scenes. You're such a young man there. He didn't get to play much as a rookie, but what did you see from Haynes' development last year? Where does he need to improve? And do you think he might factor in at guard one of these vacant spots next to you, because he's got some versatility?
Haynes is a very smart guy. He loves football, which is important. And being smart and loving football, and obviously being a pretty athletic guy. is a huge thing. So for him, last year his biggest thing was really focusing on learning the game, learning the NFL game, which he learned really quickly, which was very impressive. One of the more impressive rookies I've seen, pick up a NFL playbook and figure it out right away. So, I think he obviously, he's a younger guy. He needs to get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. But that's you get through your first season and you get in your first NFL off season, you have a great opportunity to get bigger and stronger. And to me, everything's there for him. Athleticism, the smarts of the game, and everything like that. It's just putting all that together. And I feel like he can do that.
Elaine.
Hey, Ryan, you were really brought in a few years ago to be a tone setter, to really give an edge to this offensive line. I'm curious how you kind of found that balance where, you're right there on the edge, but you're not teetering over. I remember early on you did get a lot of penalties, but you found a way to kind of cut back on those. How did you find that balance?
I think that's tough. It's feeling out the game and out that teeter point and, going right up to that point and playing through the whistle and finishing blocks and stuff like that. And, it's just all from experience and learning. So for me, it was just, I found that sweet spot and stayed right around that sweet spot. And it's cleaned up my game from, a personal foul standpoint and stuff like that. So just being able to find that balance, but also have that edge. It's kind of an art. So I would say for me, it was just, really figuring out where that teeter point is and not going past it.
All right. That's all I have time for. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, Ryan Jensen right there. No major notes there. I thought it was interesting what he said about the first year that he played. It was just you think you made it and you got to play with that chip on your shoulder again, get that back. I think it's a lot. I think that's a huge reason many free agents don't make it and are disappointments.
Yeah, I started thinking back to that first year, and they signed him originally 4 years, $42 million.
Oh, he was awful.
If you weren't dialed into the NFL, you probably had to research who the hell is Ryan Jensen.
I remember when they signed him, I was like, this guy's been starting 1 year, and they went out and plucked him. I'm like, because I was saying we got to get a center. It's such an important position in this league right now. Remember they moved Marpet over, and I saw that they did that in Atlanta. Forget the guy's name that they drafted was a Pro Bowl guard like his first year, and then they moved him center. It was a disaster. It's much harder than you think it is.
Yeah.
And then when they brought him in, I was happy they went and got a center, but I was like, wow, this guy just started. And then he was terrible his first year, and then he's picked it up tremendously.
Yeah, I had the numbers right here. This is really interesting. I think Jenna had asked it there. He had 11 penalties in 2018. 11. In the 3 years since with the Bucs, he's had 11 penalties.
Wow.
So he clearly got the memo there that he had to pick it up. And from what? Cesar Pueblo College?
Yeah.
6th round pick.
Colorado, yeah.
And now you're tossing the ball on Brady every single play.
It's a great story.
It's a great story.
This just in Pro Football Talk put this out there. A major Las Vegas sportsbook wants NFL to investigate whether someone placed major bets on the Buccaneers based on inside information regarding Tom Brady's recent unretirement. I was like, maybe they were just listening to the JP Peterson Show. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. Coming up next, Orestes Destrade will join us. He's only got about 10 minutes, but I wanted to get him on, get a couple of quick takes on the labor negotiations and what the Rays are going to do with some of these players. So stay with us. Quick break.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
March Madness has come to the Gold and Diamond Source. Did you know the Aquamarine is the birthstone of the month, and the Emily collection has some great unique pieces. It's designed to be affordable, unique, stylish gold and diamond jewelry. The Julieve collection is Julie and Steve Weintraub's exclusive, one-of-a-kind, award-winning collection of the world's finest diamonds and rare fine gemstone jewelry. Don't forget, they have 0% financing and the Diamond Savings Account, where your diamond never loses its value. You can upgrade at any time and get 100% of its value towards a new purchase. Do you have any old jewelry, broken jewelry, just lying around? Well, bring it in and get top dollar and get even more value if you use that money to buy something new or just take the cash. Shop local folks who support our community in so many charitable endeavors. It's the Golden Diamond Source, just a short 15-minute ride from Tampa, just over the bridge on Ulmerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucs, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by, in our second hour, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Like we say at the BAMMC, getting old is inevitable, but looking and feeling old is a choice. You can do something else. You can go see the great folks at BAMMC, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They have great hormone therapy. Testosterone replacement is one of the things they do there. It's not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. So a lot of these testosterone clinics pay zero attention to that. At BAMMC, you are guided through a very technical approach, and your blood levels and testosterone levels are constantly monitored to make sure you're in the right space. So they do things differently there. Check them out at BAMMC.com. That's BAMMC.com. All right, as I mentioned that story before we broke, by the way, Orestes had to push back to 11:30, so he will be on here at 11:30. So stand by for that. We'll do a quick little segment here, break, and then we'll have O on in just a second. So this story comes from the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Westgate Superbook Vice President Jay Kornegay believes that significant bets placed on the Buccaneers last week arose from inside information that Brady would be retiring, and Kornegay wants the NFL to look into it. A sharp bettor placed a large bet on Thursday for the Buccaneers to win the NFC at 30-1 and the Super Bowl at 60-1. After the Tampa Bay odds to win the Super Bowl were dropped to 25-1, the same bettor bet on the Bucs again. There's not a doubt in my mind that they knew he was coming back when they placed those wagers on Thursday, and these were not casual bettors. They would be categorized as educated bettors. It wasn't a guy with Tom Brady jersey at the counter. It was a player that we would describe as sharp. With that type of play, and then the announcement we heard Sunday, he was unretiring. There was information that was shared prior to his official announcement. Quote, there's no doubt in my mind that information leaked sometime in the middle of last week that is concerning. I don't think I've ever said the NFL really needs to investigate something, but this is something they need to look into and how it got out, because there are many books that took some sizable wagers in the middle of the week. Purdue, the South Point Sportsbook, had a similar experience on Thursday with someone placed big money on the Bucs to win the Super Bowl at 50-1, 30-1, and then at 25-1. The NFL issued a no comment to the Review Journal, but this isn't something that can be ignored. Proper handling of inside information is one of the many chapters of Playmakers. For the first time, a major sportsbook is openly accusing someone of securing and acting on the unreported news that he is coming back. Interesting stuff. So it wasn't necessarily put on a prop bet like where will Brady come back and play. It wasn't that, because I know those odds are out there, right? Those odds were out there. So I guess they didn't bet on that. They were just betting on Super Bowl futures, which, I mean, let's be honest. These are still very, speculative things. Just because Brady's coming back certainly doesn't secure them a chance to win, a guaranteed Super Bowl. Obviously, their odds go up dramatically. I get it. But as we said yesterday, there's still the odds even at 25-1. And what are they now? 7-1, 9-1 or something. I think I've seen. Those are still long odds in terms of making a sure bet. So I don't know. But what does the NFL investigate? How do you investigate something like this? You call the Buccaneers and do you know this guy? Let's check his phone records. Let's check where did he get this information? How the hell do you investigate this?
Better yet, who cares?
It's an interesting story.
Why is it such a big deal?
Because the guy, got some inside scoop. I don't know. Maybe Brady told him. Maybe one of Brady confidence told him. Is that
against the rules of betting?
I don't think so.
I mean, God, let the guy get his bag. Move on.
But I mean, are they actually accusing the Buccaneers of someone leaking this information?
Yes.
I mean, last week I was getting tips that Deshaun Watson was definitely coming. Maybe they made the bet based on they thought Deshaun Watson was coming. So I don't know. I don't think this is very actionable in any way. I certainly don't think it's criminal in any way.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't see how this is criminal. I don't see how this is grounds for whatever punishment. I mean, is this Florio reporting this, right?
This is Florio reporting it per the Las Vegas Review Journal.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Again, this is the first time that a major, player at a major sports book is accusing someone of inside information. I mean, these guys get their panties in a wad when somebody makes a bet like this, and it seems to take advantage of the odds. I get it. And maybe this is just he's throwing it out in the public to keep people from doing it again, whatever. I just don't see how you can – certainly you can't investigate it. What are you going to do? Charge him with what? Fraud?
I mean, seriously, are there betting laws out there? Strict ones like this?
And maybe they're just talking about just in terms of the NFL and Scott Reynolds said to us earlier that he talked to some people within the organization and Brady was talking to Tampa Bay earlier than Sunday, in the days leading up to it. Because I don't think, obviously Jensen had talked to Brady. Maybe probably Carlton Davis talked to Brady. I think all these guys probably talked to Brady who have resigned and knew that he was coming back. So it probably wasn't the biggest held secret in the world.
It doesn't appear so.
Yeah. So
to me, it just comes off as an isolated thing for me.
Yeah. Meh. All right. Quick break. When we come back, Orestes Destrade will join us. We'll get some inside information from him on the Rays and what's going to happen. I think their roster is going to change dramatically here in the next week or so. So stay with us. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally
tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Let's welcome in our good friend from Bally Sports Sun, former major leaguer, superstar. He is the Big O, Orestes Destrade. What's up, partner? How are you?
Brother, the only JPP that's playing right now is you. So, I got to give you the respect.
Yeah.
And I hope everything's going well. And, hey, we're back. I say we, but baseball's back on track this weekend. And I'm glad we got through the madness.
What? Give me a little synopsis on what happened.
General synopsis?
Yes.
Hatfield and McCoy's being back 50 years, literally. No, this is for real.
Yeah.
So back when Marvin Miller, there was two instances that people don't realize that were, dramatic for both sides. Okay, and they kind of ended up playing long games out on the other side. So the first one was Marvin Miller in the early 70s request free agency. The owners were like, no, let's hold off on that. So during that CBA, he was able to procure what? Arbitration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, give my guys a couple of years, and we'll find a neutral arbitrator, and we'll do it that way. So they did that during that CBA. At the end of the 70s, here comes the other one. He gets free agency. Marvin Miller was the genius of all union sports leaders.
Yes.
So he gets free agency. What does that do, JP? They're beautifully blended together. So that's a precursor to free agency that ends up kind of just going crazy as you get into the 80s, and the Don Mattingleys and the Tony Gwynns are winning arbitration left and right for $4 million, $5 million, $8 million, etc. Now they're free agents and they get the big bucks. The owners really kind of, made a mistake on that one by accommodating arbitration. What other major sport has arbitration tied into it? None
that I can think
of. I don't believe there's any. I mean, they use an arbitrator. They use a neutral judge, to settle certain grievances. But there's not a system where after your young players have played Super 2 or 3 years, that they jump into the situation where they can compare themselves to the greater, the best players making 10, 20, 30. So if Trout hits 34 home runs and drives at 90, and your third-year player hits 28 home runs and drives at 85, you're looking pretty good when you're asking for $4 million.
Yeah.
So then the fifth year you're at 6, et cetera. So that really drove things. At the same time, obviously the marketing for baseball in the 80s, 90s, and now specifically, they have done a great job, especially the owners, to really promote this game. The players have been dynamic. They are dynamic right now. They've kind of, cut the fat out a little bit, went through the PED stuff. But even during that stuff, JP, you had some great historic things, right? With Cal Ripken Jr. We had a historic game stoppage, unprecedented, because I lived that one in '94. No World Series the only year.
Yeah.
So that was historic. Then all of a sudden, teams in the last decade have gone to be worth no less than $1 billion. When 10 years ago, a Marlins team was $450 million. All these deals and all the things that are coming about, and social media and great players and globalizing the game. Now all of a sudden they're worth billions of dollars.
Right.
So what happened to the owners getting on top of them? 25 years ago in '96, they said, hey, why don't we create a luxury tax? The long game there was, we're going to get to the point where very few teams, if any, are actually using the luxury tax. Initially, several teams, 7 or 8 a year, and it was great, sending it back to the Rays and Kansas City and the Cleveland, and, using it to sign players. The last 5 years, I looked, it's only like the Yankees and Boston and Dodgers. Last year, I think it was the Dodgers and Boston. It was like a couple of teams went over the $210 million
Not
threshold.
many, yeah.
So they're using it as a cap, right?
Right.
And then in turn, they're not sending money down to the lesser, the bottom third challenge team, shall we say.
Yeah.
So the Rays aren't challenged when they're winning 100. But they're not. Right? So what did that do? It created a shift where the last 5 years, the average salary has gone down.
Right.
The PA got a call wind of, saw this, materializing before their eyes, and they're like, oh, caca. Oh, my God. So all of a sudden, they're not signing as many mid-range players for $3 or $4 million to play 80 games, hit 270, 8 home runs, and drive in 45 runs. There's a plethora of those players, right?
Right.
Well, the Matt Joyces of the world, they're kind of cutting those out. And what happened? Last year, it's an incredible stat. 46% of the major leaguers, JP, 46% made less than $500,000.
That's crazy. That's
crazy.
That's bullcrap.
Half of the major leagues.
Well, they're all doing the race
the
thing.
minimum.
They're all doing the race thing. They're trying to,
They're doing options.
Yes. And
when I came in and the baseball that you followed your whole life, there was always 1 or 2 rookies that were riding the pine and playing 30, 40 games, get a couple hundred at bat, really not be sent down to AAA unless there's something happens. And he kind of he cuts his teeth with Winfield or whatever, and he plays the weekend. No, it's not like that. We get a lefty, we call it up for 2 weeks, we send him down, he's got a split contract, 150, and the 570 last year equates to that kid and a plethora of many major leaguers making 425, 375. You understand what that was going on?
Yeah.
So what happened? The PA is pissed. So they come and drop the major gauntlet like, okay, we want the cap to be at 367 million.
Right.
Excuse me, 267.
Right.
We want 100% basically saying we want the arbitration to go to 2 years. We want 100% of the Super Twos to qualify for arbitration. That was the meeting, the infamous meeting that lasted 15 minutes. When the owner said,
"Yeah,
these are non-starters."
Right.
It's kind of you are selling a house for $1 million a day, and you sit down with, I got a buyer for you, and the guy comes in with $199, and you're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Thanks. Get serious, and we'll sit back to the table.
Bye-bye.
So that's what happened. Those two instances kind of have had long game, effect.
Right.
Miller, and then the luxury tax now is kind of a different luxury tax. It's phenomenal, man. When I started studying this in January a little more in depth, and I'm realizing, man, this thing's not going away.
Yeah.
Now, why isn't it going away? I know the PA is asking for some crazy, numbers, but why? Because they're pissed that the last 5 years, since the last CBA, only systematically, certainly, and I have to dramatically applaud them for a very smart business move. They just manipulated the options.
Right.
And all these split contracts involved. And what happens? The MIT guys came back probably and said, hey, if you use these options, you get a lefty in, you get a righty, you get a catcher, you just keep using them. They're averaging out about the same as the guy you're paying $4 million
exactly.
who has 7 years in the big league. So, why don't we just kind of spread it out a little bit? Oh, by the way, these guys never really get their full time in. We're sending them down. They don't get enough, at bats to be damaging, even if they do get a year in, because their arbitration numbers are going to be crappy.
Right.
They're getting 120 at bats.
Exactly.
So that's what's going on, brother. And hence Joey Wendell, as soon as the season ended, I go, bye-bye, Joey. You're going into the second year arbitration. The Rays don't play that. It's worked for them.
It's worked for the Rays.
But it went league wide, bro.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that the money has gone up dramatically for the owners. I mean, dramatically for the owners, and over this 5-year period, and the total revenues and the salaries are going down. It's exactly where they need to be. I mean, the players probably deserve much more than they actually got in this deal, but I think the players just want to get in and get playing. And the owners are just, look, they know they have the advantage. They know they have the hammer, and eventually they're going to bring it down. Yeah. And so it is what it is. So we're playing baseball. So I don't know how much time you have now, because I know you're short on time.
I'm okay for where I was at. I was able to finish earlier,
Okay,
so
cool.
I'm just driving and talking to you and enjoying.
Beautiful.
Visiting with you again. It's been a minute.
Awesome. Let's just roll then. Let's talk some Rays specifically now. And they're talking about they're in on Freddie Freeman. I think they're going to get outbid by the Dodgers and the Blue Jays and maybe even the Yankees. But by some miracle,
and
Freddie,
Boston's in the mix now.
If he takes less money to come here, I mean, what a huge boon that would be. I don't think it's going to happen, but that would solve a lot of issues for the Rays. You think it might?
It might. I'll tell you how it might. They have a very attractive, and this has been going on for several years. They have systematically cleaned their books, right? Who do they got? They got Kiermaier, who I love, man, and he's a diehard Rays guy, but he's going to be making $12 million this year, and I think he's at 13 with next year in a option year, with a buyout of $2.5 million. So even if Kiermaier stays being the best outfielder in the game for the Rays the whole year, which I doubt will be the case, whether they're winning or losing in July, they'll try to push him. They're going to have big contracts, JP, so they can front load a guy like Freddie Freeman, make him real happy like a football player, you know what I mean, as opposed to the backloading that they did smartly with our boy Franco. Okay, Franco, $18 million the first 4 years. He's making $1 million this year and $2 million next year. It's so comfortable, right? But with Freddie, you front load it and give him a bunch of money, maybe a great signing bonus, and you kind of pull him that way. And he could DH, he could play first. He's phenomenal, Gold Glove first baseman. So it's a long shot, but I think Dodgers can match and overwhelm what any team does.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only way the Rays can kind of, get him, and he probably is more comfortable already out here in the East because of Atlanta. I know I believe he's a California. Well, no, he's he's from out west, right?
Where's that?
Or maybe he's from
I think
can't remember.
He's from Canada, I believe.
Yes, and his wife evidently has some ties to the Tampa Bay area. I've read. I haven't checked that and confirmed it, but
So there you have, I'm telling you, it could be interesting. And here's the other factor that behooves the Rays with their very, clean that they have right now, statically but smartly. He's a marquee player for another solid 5 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best top 5 sweetest hitters in the game. Top 5. That's saying a lot. So you're looking for a stadium. How attractive you got the most attractive young under 22-year-old, and then the most attractive, like steady 27, 29-year-old, whatever he is.
Yeah.
And for trying to procure a stadium. Now with this one, you have to be, more aggressively in and to appease them. And like I said before, you give upfront mad money, and now you're almost like paying for the opportunity to look at what we're doing, help us out to get the stadium deal done wherever it's going to go. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I agree with you. That makes a ton of sense for any organization that would normally spend money on players. But a 6-year deal.
Yeah, I think it'll be an investment. Brother, they spend money. It's just systematic. They're one of the higher spending international money spenders. So they'll spend $4 million on a kid when some other team maybe was at 2.5. I mean, a big boy team. So it's just that they're not into the hundreds of millions. And if our boy, former friend Andrew Freeman goes, really, I'm going to give him, like stupid Aaron Rodgers money, $50 million a year.
Which of course he's going to do.
Freddie will look at his wife and go, honey, I know we got family in Tampa Bay, but I tell you what, those tar pits do look quite attractive.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. When you're bidding against,
he probably will go, I love Magic Johnson. I was a childhood hero. I mean, he was my idol when I was a kid. I want to meet Magic Johnson.
With that kind of money, you don't have to worry about heading into Skid Row or getting bothered by the bums in L.A. You can kind of insulate yourself from that.
The family from Tampa Bay, you fly them in a jet. Go, mom, dad, come down.
No doubt. Hey, so when you look at this starting rotation for the Rays, the addition of Kluber, and you still have a lot of young arms, but that really you just don't know which way they're going to go. They're uber talented there with Rasmussen, Patino, Baz. I mean, these are kids that have tremendous arms, but can they? McClanahan, obviously, can they turn into a solid staff with just one veteran, or do you think the Rays will look to add their veteran starter?
I as much as we follow and become fans and also, objective analysts of the race, it makes total sense to try to find that one other, I'm not going to say Charlie Morton, that'd be juicy, but, one other Rich Hill, shall we say.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you just need the backup to the backups. The young kids are great, but one of the things that I realized once they got to the bright lights, big city of postseason play and lack thereof, I was missing Diego Castillo. I was missing Rich Hill. I was missing, some other start, Charlie Morton, right?
Right.
That could have been there. And instead, it was a young, Shane Baz, who's, still regarded as a number 2, prospect in the world, right? So he's going to be fine. The kid's going to win a bunch of games. McClanahan, but the experience last year helped. But we need some veterans, and I think Kluber. Remember, before Kluber got hurt, he kind of revamped himself and was pitching very effectively. So I'd like to see him healthy, and he could be again one of these surprise, almost Charlie Morton type thing, and notch 14, 15 wins. But I'd like to see one other crafty lefty, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out for Chirinos. He's going to be hungry. And he's fully back, so he's expected to be, if I'm not mistaken, to join in. Maybe not right off the top, but soon thereof. So maybe Chirinos is going to be a sleeper veteran in that staff, hungry, and then you roll the dice and then you got a bunch of young relievers and veteran relievers that that we manipulate those very, very well. That's going to be the deal. But I would like to have in October, when you hypothetically face a veteran Houston or a veteran Yankees or a veteran Boston, that was the difference.
Interesting stuff, my friend. I appreciate you coming on, Big O. Let's do it next week. We'll get you in for an hour.
Yeah,
and,
we'll talk. Yeah, there might be some news, but again, these are all hypotheticals.
I know. I love it.
I'll tell you, the Freddie Freeman should be interesting, and I think they're going to at least, it's nice that they're throwing their hat in there.
Yeah.
And it shows a whole era that, they're trying to be creative, and they usually have one or two of those creative deals every year. So
let's see
we'll
what
happens.
Yes.
But Tom, terrific. Brady's back.
Yes.
The Bolts are legit. They're going to heat up as they get into the playoffs. The Rays are back. For a minute there, tell me yes or no. When Tom retired, the Bolts were just like, in the early, maybe middle of the season, so you're not really going crazy.
Right.
And then the Rays got supported with their playoff run. Did you feel like, oh, shoot, man.
It's coming to an
Ron's
end.
probably going to retire. You got all of a sudden we go from, Tampa Bay, everything. Now all of a sudden we're back.
Brady's the linchpin.
Brady. He is the catalyst.
He's got that horseshoe, golden horseshoe up his ass. I'm telling you, man.
Well, but he
wherever
also
he
threw
goes.
for 5,000 yards. Touchdowns. The dude was legit. This wasn't. He didn't limp out of the game. And by the way,
I told you he was coming
who's
back.
going.
We knew that. We knew he was coming back.
You know who's going like, you got to be kidding me. Belichick.
Again?
He's going,
again?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it in the media, but God damn it, really?
He screwed up. He screwed up. He's the one that wanted him gone a long time ago. And the greatest football coach of all time.
And he wouldn't.
Yeah. All right, brother. Always good to catch up with you. Drive safe. All right, you're the best. The rest is Destrade right there. Interesting. So he's on your Freddie Freeman fantasy bandwagon.
He said almost verbatim what I said.
He did.
I mean, I told you I had a good point.
I couldn't laugh at him.
You got to be
though.
optimistic.
He's part of the organization. I can't laugh
Oh,
at
but
him.
you'll laugh on me and tell me I'm gullible and I'm just a fan. You're falling for Stu's BS.
Well, he also said, he goes, at least we're in it. Of course, Andrew Freeman's going to step up and take.
I did say that.
Triple that.
At least we're in it.
He has a bigger resume than you. I can't. And plus, he works for the team, so I can't openly laugh at him, but I can now.
They're in it. That's all that matters.
All right. Do we need to take a break?
We do not have to. No, we can always go through.
Did you see this? I have to retweet this. It just came on my timeline. This is a time-lapsed video from a nighttime of sleeping. This couple is sleeping in their bed and they have a cat, and it shows what the cat does at night while they're sleeping.
Oh, Lord.
Look at what this cat is doing. Like, this is why you don't have cats. Look at this. He's running. He's like up on the bedpost. He's up on the top of the door. He's scratching on the door. He's coming up and looking in the camera. This cat is like squatting all over him while they're sleeping, probably taking a piss or something.
It looks like my future right there.
Yeah, that's what cat. Tally ain't doing that. Like, look at her right now. She's out like a light. She goes to sleep. She's like, don't bother me. I'm chilling down here. This cat's running all over the place like it's crazy. I'll get a retweet. It's pretty funny, actually. I'm supposed to do it with the sound up, but I don't know what that's all about, so can't do that. All right. Other stuff we got to get to. So you were telling me there's this report running around that Rick Pitino, there's a bunch of boosters that want to buy out Brian Gregory at USF and bring in Rick Pitino. Where's this report coming from? Is this another 620 WDAE?
I believe so, yes.
Is it? Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that they're trying to break stories over there now. That's interesting. So the Freddie Freeman, the Rays, 6 years, $140 million. That's complete propaganda from the Rays. I'll believe it when I see it. And I just someone very much know with Pitino, like very close to Rick Pitino. Let me see if I can get this verbatim, so all you folks will know. My source said NFW exclamation point. I believe that translates into no fucking way. Rick Pitino ain't coming to USF. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and put that to bed. Not happening ever. Very good source. I mean, I know he's only making what $1 million at Iona.
About, yeah. But the report, it did say, like, so they just re-signed or extended Gregory,
it's
right?
extended Gregory,
and,
yeah.
And Michael Kelly, they did preface in the report that he was unwilling. He's not really willing to make a change at the moment. He's not thrilled
Of course
about
not.
it, but the boosters are ones pushing
when did the boosters at USF become T. Boone Pickens? When did this happen?
They tired of losing at every
We're
sport.
throwing money. We're buying it.
They're
We're going to
tired.
build a stadium. Now we're going to throw a bag at Rick Pitino and come coach our basketball. When did this happen? I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But
my first thought with that, I mean, it'd be great. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Like a lot of things would be great. But Rick Pitino, if he's going to his next stop is going to be like one of these 6 SEC openings or something like that. Probably.
I would think.
You'd
I
think.
mean, I would think. I mean, he's 69 years old.
69 years
A very
old.
young 69, I might add.
Yeah.
A lot of Botox there. And he does have a lot of connections to Tampa. He's a member at Old Memorial, spends a lot of time here, has a lot of good friends here in the area. So I do, but I also, I know Iona is not a big power, but it has a lot of cachet in New York. It really does. So I think that probably was part of it. He's a big, kind of a big city, big program guy. And I know Tampa Bay is a big city, but in terms of college basketball, it's peanuts. It's unfortunately, it's just the way, it's never really rocked the college basketball world. So that's an end up NFW, not happening. So there you go on that. What else do we need to get to?
I kept showing you from the TV there that
you know what? I think it's actually worth talking about. So on Stephen A. Smith's
First Take
for the I think the 6th day in a row, they're having a segment on Colin Kaepernick deserves a job because he put out a workout video where he showed how completely slow he is fitting off. Literally, I looked at that video and I went, "Are you kidding me? Like that's me. I can do that. Like that. He's so slow, and he's 35, 36 years old.
34 years old.
Has not played in the league for 5 years.
6 years.
6 years. And when he left the league, he was offered a starting job in Denver and didn't take it because he said the money wasn't good enough. Allegedly. John L. has that on the books. He sued the NFL and won a large amount of money. He was given an opportunity to have the entire league come to a practice or a tryout for him. I don't believe in the history of the NFL they've ever done this for any other player. It set it up at an NFL facility. All he had to do was sign an agreement not to sue the league again, which I think is reasonable, and said, no, I'm going to go to a local high school and y'all can come see me practice over there because y'all a bunch of racists. Look, we've talked about this.
And then he compared playing in the NFL to being a slave.
Right. So I guess he wants to get back in the slave trade. Interesting. But come on. Are we serious? I mean, and there's people like Stephen A. Smith that are arguing that he deserves a shot, that he has to have. Everybody on ESPN says he has to get a shot because if you say otherwise, you're fired. Let's just be honest about this. We already know that ESPN was all in on the BLM movement and all in on all of this progressive stuff, which is if you want to be politically on that way, that's fine. It's your channel, do whatever you want. But I'm not going to take you seriously when you're talking about stuff like this. It's a joke.
My only thing with this is like you can feel that way, right? Have an opinion by all means, but
where's the other opinion on ESPN, by the way? Where is there any balance in all these quote debate shows? Where is there any balance in their thinking whatsoever? There's none.
Yeah.
Just in case you want to know.
That was really my point. My point with it really is look at how the things that are going on right now in sports. There's NFL free agency going crazy. Yeah. There's MLB free agency going crazy. March Madness is going on. It's like they're avoiding talking about March Madness. Yeah. What else? Even their beloved NBA. I mean, they could have spent an hour today talking about.
I'm sure they did that as well.
They could have spent an hour talking about LeBron's Lakers last night again, getting blown out.
Which they probably did.
They probably did. But no, we're going to dedicate. I looked over there on 3 different occasions, 3 separate segments talking about Colin Kaepernick. I'm sorry, but that's just not news anymore.
No.
Like it's been 6 years. Regardless how you feel about it, the chances of him getting back into the league are virtually zero.
Well, you can argue, you argue your agenda-driven stuff, whatever you want to argue with absolutely no counter whatsoever, whatever. That's why ESPN has been unplugged by so many people. I just don't know
what else you could
say
about
millions of viewers.
I just don't know what else you could say about it 6 years later.
It's an agenda.
That you haven't said.
It's an agenda. It's a political agenda that ESPN has adopted clearly. And a lot of people are just tired of hearing about it. They'd rather hear about sports. And this bizarre as bizarre can be. And, I mean, if you're still supporting Colin Kaepernick and Jesse Smollett, yeah, I think, you pretty much shown that you have no basis in reality of what's going on. All right. Our thanks to Orestes Destrade, who joined us today. That was awesome. Scott Reynolds, TJ Rives. Another great show for the archives. If you're missing the show every day, it's 2 hours of all Tampa Bay-centric stuff. We give you the latest, the greatest, the best guests. We really appreciate y'all listening in, whether it be on the app, FanStream Sports, download it, and also at fanstreamsports.com. You can get all our content right there. Always live on Twitter and always live on YouTube. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.